What's going on, everyone? I am just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about why some British islands want to join Norway. So, this really caught my attention because I had not heard anything about this. And, I feel like it's pretty unusual for, part of a country to want to leave and join another country, in this case, Norway. So today, I want to take a look at this and try to understand more about this whole weird situation. So let's take a look.
Did you know that there is a set of islands in the north of Scotland belonging to the UK that want to become a part of Norway?
What? No. No, I did not know. Do Norwegians out there, do you know? Do you know about this? Is this a thing? Is this okay? Is this a compliment? I guess. Is this possible? I don't know anything about this.
Instead, I mean, they already have a Nordic cross flag, so they're on a good track to join.
Wait, what? So this is these random islands sort of north of Scotland. Are they different from Scotland, but they're part of the UK? And they even have their own flag, which kind of looks like a Nordic cross flag. So, oh wow. Geography is very interesting. Very interesting. This is, and most of us Americans don't know anything about, all this stuff. So, this is fascinating. Is there some relationship between the UK and Norway? Like, with the flags?
Already have a Nordic cross flag, so they're on a good track to join. It's not often that a part of one country wants to join another one. I mean, sometimes they want independence, but to have a proper territory transfer, I don't think so. Yet the idea that the Orkney Islands might one day return to Norway recurrently comes up in news headlines.
Huh? Wait, what? So they have a name. They are called the Orkney Islands. Return to Norway? Were these a part of Norway? Also, I never realized Norway and the UK are very close. They are very, very close. This map zoomed in actually illustrates that very well. Huh. Anyway, were these part of Norway at one point?
Headlines and local political debates. So why is that the case, and is there any real possibility of them becoming a part of Norway?
Okay.
The Orkney Islands form an archipelago of around 70 islands, but only about 20 are inhabited.
Wow.
They lie just off the northern tip of mainland Scotland, and they're home to just over 22,000 people.
Wow. That's not a small number of people. It's so interesting. Like most of us Americans can't imagine living like on an island somewhere. Like it's so different from, what the way we grow up, and it's cool that this is a thing. That there's like thousands of people living on this random set of islands out here. Like, 22,000. That's actually a lot more than I would have thought.
They are administered by the United Kingdom and politically linked to Scotland. Their geography points more to the sea than it does inland. Orkney is in fact closer to Norway than it is to London. Its seas are historically way...
That's interesting. That's an interesting way of looking at it. Obviously, they're closer to mainland UK, but they're closer to the capital of Norway than the capital of the UK. I've never thought about this.
That it connected more easily to Scandinavia rather than the Scottish Highlands. Throughout history, Travel, trade, and culture developed around the North Sea, and this makes their connection to Norway more than just geographical proximity.
Oh.
Because due to that proximity, Norse settlers from western Norway colonized the islands from the 8th century, and by around 875, Orkney became part of the Kingdom of Norway.
What? 875. Over 1,000 years ago. See, that's another cool thing about countries like Norway, the UK. You guys have such a long, interesting history. Here in the United States, we're a relatively young country. We don't have crazy stuff like this. I'm surprised. Like I didn't know that Norwegians had like sailed all the way from Norway out to these islands like that 1,000 years ago. I didn't know you were doing stuff like that. That's amazing.
Ruled by Norse earls under the Norwegian crown. It wasn't a loose cultural influence, they were fully integrated into the Norse world. Old Norse was spoken there for centuries, and Orcadian
Oh.
place names today are overwhelmingly Norse.
Wow. Knowing the history, like, this makes way more sense. Is this like, do most Norwegians know about this? Like, this was part of Norway. These people have like a relation or an ancestry to Norwegians and a culture that's connected. And that's really cool.
Like Kirkwall, Stromness, Sandai. Their laws, landholding, and social structures also followed Norse customs. The islands were ruled from Scandinavia, and this
Wow.
connection lasted over 500 years, far longer than Orkney has been Scottish up to today.
Who That's had to be difficult to like maintain these islands all the way from Norway. Like it's close, but they're also, separated by water. And who would want to sail away from Norway and live on these islands? Like, you had to be some people who really wanted some adventure or something, because yeah, it's far away from home.
Importantly, they didn't choose to become Scottish, and at the same time, Scotland didn't need to conquer them. Instead, it changed
Oh.
hands due to a dynastic marriage deal. In 1468, Christian I pledged the Orkney Islands, and the Shetland ones too, as security for his daughter's dowry when she married James III.
What? Like I said, you guys have a very interesting history. The United States, we didn't have all the kings and the queens and hundreds of years, and crazy stuff like this can happen when you have a long history. The King of Denmark gave away these islands. He just gave them away as like a gift for with his daughter to marry James II of Scotland. And that's it. That's all it is. Then suddenly they're not Norway, they're Scotland. Just like that. Some random king gave them away.
The dowry was never paid in full, and Scotland simply kept the islands. But there was never
Oh.
supposed to be a full transfer, and it just happened because payment wasn't made in full. And from an Orcadian perspective, the islands were just sort of pawned, they weren't ceded, and Norway could technically settle the debt and recover them.
They never even paid? Again, I know I keep asking this, but this is a crazy story. Are you taught this in Norway? Like, is this? Because I've obviously never heard of this.
Because even after annexation, Orkney remained culturally distinct from the rest of Scotland. The islands didn't participate in the clan system that defined Highland Scotland, for instance. The local dialect retained Norse vocabulary too, and so the Scandinavian cultural memory remained stronger than Scottish nationalism.
wow.
Orkney's relationship with Edinburgh were just administrative. There was no emotional aspect to it. And for centuries,
Interesting.
government felt distant, while daily life was rooted in the local Norse tradition and towards the sea that connects it to their former rulers.
So there's just thousands of people living on these islands right off of Scotland that actually feel like more. I mean, what did these people say? Can't you just ask these people? I guess do they want to become part of Norway again? Like, if they've held on to the Norwegian culture, for this long. Like, curious what they would say.
And that distance lasts until today. In modern times, occasional calls to explore closer ties with Norway tend to surface during moments of political uncertainty, especially around Scottish independence. These discussions are usually symbolic rather than secessionist, but they reveal real problems like perceived neglect from Edinburgh and London, a desire for
Oh.
more autonomy, an admiration of Norway's quality of life, and a sense that Orkney's interests differ from those of Scotland.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Norway is a very successful, wealthy, it's a good country. It's very good. It kind of makes sense that this islands of people would want to be part of Norway. Like, there's a lot of benefits to that.
Now, it's important to say that there's never been a vote or an attempted referendum. I don't think there's even
Okay.
been many political initiatives that aim to make
Okay.
the islands officially rejoin Norway.
Do do Norwegians care about this? Like, is this sounds like the people of Orkney Islands might care about becoming Norwegian, or although they've never voted on it. Would Norway accept them if they wanted to join?
Mostly because there's no legal mechanism under UK law for a territory to secede and join another country. References to
Oh.
joining Norway do, however, appear in political remarks and media commentary. Some say that they're just symbolic or comparative rather than having the goal of proposing a real transfer of the territory. But I
I
guess we'd
see.
have to go there and ask the people if they would rather be Norwegian or Scottish
Yeah.
slash British.
Yeah.
I mean, they did choose to have a Nordic flag, whatever that means.
That's true. Interesting. They do have a Nordic looking flag. But all the way up until now, nothing has really happened. But they maintain this Nordic culture. Maybe they want to maintain their ties to the heritage of Norway or Nordic culture. But it's just not logistically possible for them to join Norway. But they're kind of happy having that as their culture, and kind of they're okay with technically being part of the UK. That's kind of what it sounds like is happening.
In this context, it was chosen in a public vote by 53% of the 200 voters.
Huh.
There were 5 options, all of which depicted a Nordic cross, and the
Wow.
former flag was this yellow one with a red Nordic cross also. The modern one is actually quite similar to Norway's flag.
Yes.
A red field with a blue Nordic cross
Yes.
with a yellow border. Norway's is
Very
white.
similar.
Maybe that is a symbol of the desired proximity from the locals. The neighboring
Maybe.
Shetland Islands also used to be Norwegian, and they have a Nordic flag today too, in blue and white, as do a couple other Scottish islands. I guess
Wow, look at this. There's quite a few countries that have this Nordic style flag. Like, I'm sure there's a history behind all of them, but yeah. I didn't know about any of this. This is fascinating.
we will have to wait and see what the future holds for the Orkney Islands. I don't think anything will happen for now, but if, for instance, Scotland revisits its independence from the UK, I think the people of Orkney might want to revisit the possibility to join Norway instead. Thank you for watching this video.
Very interesting. I had no idea about this. This is not something that they teach us here in the United States. This is way too obscure. It's cool. It's a cool bit of history. And it's hard to tell like how important this is to Norway, how important this is to the Orkney Islands, what the people there would want or what they think. Maybe there's people who know more about this, but for now it just seems like logistically very difficult that this would happen, but it's definitely thought-provoking and a fascinating piece of history. So I quite enjoyed this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on this whole situation, especially if you're Norwegian or if somehow if you're on the Orkney Islands watching YouTube. That'd be cool to hear about your thoughts on this whole situation and what you want. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and Norwegian things that I have never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.